In a discreet location on the outskirts of Melbourne, a former undercover agent is showing us how easy it is for criminal gangs to operate. He's buying an encrypted phone on the black market.
Hey, how you going?
Good, thanks. Is there any way of getting it this afternoon?
It's called a cipher. It looks like a normal phone, but all activity on the device is completely encrypted, making it a must-have for Australian criminals who need to avoid police detection.
They're all like 100% secure, encrypted.
Yep.
They're untrackable, untraceable. So they're not attached to any SIMs, they're not attached to any name.
He's directed to leave $1,600 in cash in the glove box of his unlocked car. Minutes later, a man in a black hoodie arrives to drop off the phone. There are almost 10,000 of these cipher phones in Australia, being used almost exclusively by serious organised crime. It's no surprise then that we're not the only ones tracing their use.
I won't be specific about who they lead back to, but it certainly leads back to elements of the Aussie cartel.
The boss of the Australian Criminal Intelligence Commission, Michael Phelan, has been closely monitoring cipher phones. And while he won't say it, his commission believes wanted drug lord Hakan Ayik and the Comancheros are behind their introduction into Australia. This is the first time Phelan has given a major TV interview.
Up until now, your agency has been even more secretive than ASIO. Why speak up now?
From time to time, we think it's important that we talk to the public about the threats that the country is facing. At this particular point in time, Australia is facing a very serious threat from serious and organised crime. And the vast majority of that organised crime is offshore.
Since 2017, Phelan and the ACIC have tirelessly targeted encrypted communication platforms, drugs and dirty money to uncover the organised criminals posing the gravest harm to Australia. These suspected Mr Bigs are specially designated as APOTs, Australian Priority Organisation Targets. Their identities are a tightly held secret.
How hard is it to get on the APOT list?
It is not an easy list to get onto. It's a list that really, from our point of view, has those that pose the greatest threat to Australia.
To put it simply, to get on the APOT list, you must be the baddest of the bad.
You've got to be the baddest of the bad, and you've got to really affect the drug trade in Australia.
For the first time, we can reveal that there are 16 APOTs. 9 on the list are members of a new criminal organisation the ACIC has dubbed the Aussie Cartel, including Hakan Ayik.
They are operating offshore. They're all the same nationality, Australian. They share supply routes, they share logistics supply chains, they share amongst themselves the doors or the way in to Australia. They share any corrupt networks they may have here to swap information into each other.
What's the Aussie cartel making?
We would estimate that they are responsible for about 1/3 of the drug importations into our country. You could estimate they're probably making about $1 billion a year, thereabouts.
We've obtained details of the secret list, and we can now name key members in the Aussie cartel. There's Mark Buddle, the Dubai-based international commander of the Comancheros. Hells Angels boss Angelo Pandelli, who operates out of Greece. In Hong Kong, there's Michael Tu. And in the Middle East, Hakan Arif, Mohammed Bousseleh and George Dib. At the top of the cartel sits Hakan Ayik, calling the shots from Turkey.
Is Hakan Ayik an APOT?
I won't talk about specifically who is on the APOT.
You can't confirm if Hakan Ayik is on that list?
No, I won't confirm that, Nick.
Michael Phelan's discretion is understandable, but he is willing to talk about the Aussie cartel's corrupt links here in Australia, including the startling admission that there are rats among our police investigators.
Are you saying the Aussie cartel has reached somewhere into law enforcement in Australia?
Oh, it would be extremely naive of me to think that they didn't.
Are they getting tip-offs?
On occasions, it would, it certainly has crossed my mind that some of the importations that have gone south has been as a result of that, but it's difficult to say.
Someone in some agency somewhere is leaking, burning your jobs.
Look, I would say it's inevitable. But those corrupt insider networks are not only government officials, but also private sector as well.
Just back on, what do you mean government officials? What sort of officials?
Oh, I'm meaning law enforcement and so on like that, absolutely.
But it's not just suspected dirty cops. According to secret intelligence we've been briefed on, illicit drugs are being waved through by a huge network of corrupt insiders. Even Qantas has been unwittingly dragged into this criminal activity. A national intelligence operation, codenamed Brunello, has found the Comancheros bikie gang and other crime groups have infiltrated our national airline. Dozens of Qantas employees have been linked to serious drug activity or organised crime.
Is Qantas compromised?
Look, I won't talk about some of the individual intelligence we have, but we work very closely with Qantas. I mean, Qantas are a very large employer.
In a statement, Qantas said they follow all vetting procedures and that authorities have not raised these concerns with the company. But both Qantas and the ACIC do agree that new laws are needed to target corrupt insiders, the aim being to prevent criminals and their associates from ever getting jobs at ports and airports.
Well, if those laws aren't passed, there'll be, right today as we speak, there'll be 225 people working on the wharf who have very close links to serious and organised crime, who are not convicted of any offences, but have very close links to serious and organised crime and are capable of facilitating some of those doors into Australia.